Oh, and of course it also has sound dampening foam, one between the PCB and plate and one underneath the PCB. Okay, all memes aside, this keyboard, it's actually quite good.
I like how he said all memes aside after he listed the spec list. I like, see, this is why I love Teehee. I love him. I will never not love Teehee Types. I want a Teehee Types fucking body pillow. I want to hug him and for him to be so squishy.
That's my verdict if you don't want to watch the entire video. I hate to admit it, but it's a very nice keyboard for its price range, and it just might outclass other keyboards in similar categories. Now, of course, it's not perfect, and that's to be expected, as there are some things that I don't like about it, so hopefully you watch the whole video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to be notified of future videos like this. The GMMK Pro...
God damn it, Teehee, you have a fucking editor and he can't normalize the sound levels of the Foley? God, what are you paying him for? Knob.
Features a 75% layout with a knob. If you've seen my streams at all, I stream every Tuesdays and Wednesdays over at Twitch. You should already know that I'm personally not a fan of this kind of layout.
He doesn't have an editor? I thought he had an editor. Okay, well, God damn it, Teehee, fucking volume normalize your sound effects. It's not hard. If I can do it, my idiot ass can do it, you can do it.
I generally don't like knobs on my keyboards as I don't have a need for them, but I probably am in the minority as it's quickly become a popular feature on custom mechanical keyboards. For me, most 75% layouts don't rank high for aesthetics, but there's no denying it is a nice mix between compactness and preserving functionality, which I think is important considering the market this keyboard is trying to capture. The knob on the GMMK Pro is nice. The detents are definitely noticeable. You can feel the stepping as you turn the knob, which provides a subtle but evident feedback. It does wiggle a bit as the knob is only secured via friction to the rotary encoder, but during my 3 weeks of testing, I found this to be a non-issue for real-world usage. As the knob is not actually screwed onto the rotary encoder, this makes interchanging it with the other knobs you can purchase from Glorious fairly simple. In terms of...
Well, Zam, Teha's not a keyboard reviewer. He's not going to actually review a keyboard. The majority of people that review keyboards don't review keyboards. Reviewing is fucking hard. It's easier to just like say, it has this, and this, and this, and this is a thing.
The machining, all the outer edges have been filleted, and it feels nice to the touch. The word Glorious is engraved on the bottom. The USB port cutout
No, he was not paid. But he got a free keyboard.
The side glow acrylic piece and the cutout has no leaks, but I did notice that some of the machining did look rough around certain areas. The anodization is decent, but on my unit there were some light streaking and inconsistent spots here and there. Now the GMMK Pro comes in 2 colorways, white ice and black slate. Definitely an ambitious mistake on Glorious's end to call their anodized board white ice. It's more like a silver. The machining and anodization quality on the GMMK Pro isn't going to blow you away, but it's more than decent and acceptable, I think, from a product at this price point. Unscrewing the 8 Phillips screws, which are easily accessible from the bottom, open up the internals.
Imagine using Phillips.
I'm happy to see that this time around, they have not only oriented the switch pinhole so that they are south-facing, but have also added 5-pin switch compatibility to the PCB, meaning you no longer have to clip your switches. At the moment, the PCB is limited to ANSI only, but an ISO version is coming later this year. Like the popular GMMK line of keyboards, the GMMK Pro only offers a hot-swappable PCB, and it comes with their proprietary Glorious hot swap sockets, which from what I can tell don't seem functionally superior to other...
South-facing is better than north-facing because it offers you better compatibility with some keycaps. Some keycaps, if your switch is turned the opposite way, it'll strike the internal support ridge of the keycap and make a really loud, high-pitched sound.
Existing hot swap sockets at the moment, other than the fact that these Glorious sockets are orientation agnostic in terms of installation during manufacturing. The PCB is QMK compatible out of the box, and at the time of making this video, I do see the GMMK Pro in the QMK GitHub repo. Glorious has additionally stated they intend to make it VIA compatible as well later down the line, so we'll see how that turns out. For anyone who has purchased the first batches of this keyboard, there will be a required firmware update which needs to be done via the Glorious Core, a unified software that Glorious intends to use for all their products moving forward. I was only able to play around with a
So you gotta download the spyware. Nice.
Pre-release version before making the video, and it works okay. The software is fairly intuitive to use with about all the basic functionality you would want from a keyboard remapping program, from changing the LED colors, remapping your keys, and recording macros. The only real complaint I had was that currently you have to save each edit individually. You can't remap several switches at once. then click save for all those changes to propagate.
Imagine having to press
To do this,
save.
only the most recent change you made goes through. I have notified Glorious of this, and I've been told this is being worked on, but it seems like a fairly basic feature that should have been included ahead of time. By default, the GMMK Pro comes with an aluminum plate, but you do have the option of purchasing a brass or polycarbonate plate. Now traditionally, hot swap builds secure the PCB to the plate via standoffs located at various points spread across the entire PCB and plate. On the GMMK Pro, however, there are two big standoffs towards the middle, and then around the outer edge, 12 points where the PCB is screwed onto the plate. Based off the shape of the mounting holes for the PCB on the plate, as well as how some of the cutouts looked, I did confirm with the folks over at Glorious that these plates are created via a tooled punch, as opposed to CNC machine switch plates like you might see on more premium boards.
What that means is the cutouts themselves for the switches may be irregular. So some of them might be loose, some of them might be slightly crooked, some of them might be super tight. That's basically what happens. Like you can tell here, like a tool punch is still like relatively accurate, but it's not as accurate as CNC.
I assume this is also why my aluminum and brass plate looks rough around the edges, but this is mostly visual, they are perfectly fine to touch. Of course, this PCB supports full perky RGB and also has some side glow, which I kind of like the execution of design-wise. On either sides of the PCB, there's a column of LEDs that illuminate upwards like all the other perky RGB lighting. Above these LEDs, but underneath the plate, rests a piece of acrylic that has an angled edge flagged with some kind of opaque white material to help direct the light up and outwards to the sides. This light is then diffused through a second piece of acrylic.
Bro, this video is way too fucking long. I'm not watching this whole video. Let's see if he does like a summary at the end.
And I'm not a fan of the right justified text on the right side mods. Of course, not everyone cares for spending as much as they do on their keycaps as they do on their keyboard. So if you plan on sticking with the GMMK Pro for a while and just want something simple to go along with it, consider the GPPT keycaps.
Dude, you're complaining you have 1 hour long reviews? Yeah, but I don't watch them on stream, bro. I'm supposed to be desoldering right now. Yeah, I know my videos are longer. But like, nobody's gonna watch my videos on a stream. If so, it would be the easiest stream ever. Fucking sit back, go get some coffee, come back an hour later.
The final verdict. While I did have something to say about pretty much every aspect of the keyboard, none of them were major deal breakers, and I actually think this is a fantastic value proposition for any enthusiast, regardless of their skill levels. While this keyboard is intended to be that next premium jump up for previous GMMK owners, or anyone looking to get into the Glorious ecosystem, I think this will also be a great recommendation for anyone looking to dip their toes into the enthusiast scene without breaking the bank too much. If layout isn't too big of a concern, I would 100% recommend this GMMK Pro over other keyboards with a similar price point or layout, such as the KBD75 series, the Drop Control. Heck, I'd even probably recommend you forego the Keychron keyboards and that you just save up for this. At this price point and with minimal tuning, you can really get a decent custom mechanical keyboard experience that I think will be a great gateway into the hobby for many people. I think the biggest hurdle for the enthusiast community is going to be separating the brand from the product. There's no doubt Glorious has rubbed many people the wrong way in the hobby initially, and that they clearly are new to this segment of products. Now, I'm not absolving Glorious of everything that they've done, but I do think that at least publicly, they have shown an openness and willingness to learn about the community and listen, and so far, I think the GMMK Pro is a decent first attempt. This board is, in my opinion, going to introduce a whole new audience to what custom mechanical keyboards can be like, and convert new people to become enthusiasts. Now, only time will tell how truly in tune they intend to be with the enthusiast segment, but this is just the beginning. As big as Glorious is relative to our existing vendors, they are still minuscule compared to the larger companies that will be taking notice and entering the space. But everyone needs to start somewhere, right? Whether it's a vendor or the next enthusiast.
Guys, I misclicked, okay? Everybody clip it randomly out of context, thanks.
Joining the scene. And we should look to help guide and teach these new entities within a reasonable degree, of course. Joining any niche hobby is a two-way relationship. Veteran members shouldn't look to gatekeep for the sake of keeping the status quo, but at the same time, new entities do need to put in the work to truly learn the culture of the space and not expect to be spoon-fed everything. Alright, that's it for me from this video. It's been a while since I've done a review video like this on YouTube, but you can expect more to come. Let me know how you guys like the format. Critique me down below in the comment section. And until next time, see ya, nerds.